all been lectured before about morals. It's our parents' job to teach us the fundamentals of living a successful life through virtuous decision-making. However, we still sin. Everyone is a sinner. Whoever says they aren't a sinner is lying and is therefore sinning. Through the grace of Jesus, we have been saved, and he has forgiven us for our previous sins and for the sins to come. But that's not an excuse to sin. It's not a free pass. God doesn't want us to sin or undergo pain, but he wants us to learn from our previous mistakes so that we won't have to undergo as much pain in the future. Remember that God allowed pain to enter the world, which means that there must be some kind of good that comes from it. We know that there are consequences to our sin, and we know what disaster sin causes, yet we still sin. It's not until we have truly recognized the destruction of the desires of the flesh that we recognize our sin for what it truly is, a cage, a trap, something that only promotes destruction and death. Why, though? Why do we only realize how destructive our sin is until we have seen that destruction take place? This begs the honest question, can morals be learned without experiencing pain? Learning and listening to others is vital to growing in wisdom and maturity. There's nothing like taking the advice of a wise and respected elder who has experienced much more in life than you have or probably ever will. It also prevents a large amount of pain from occurring in the future if we learn from others' mistakes. This is why God has given us the Bible. We read about the mistakes of those in the Bible, and we relate with the sinners because we have probably gone through the same thing, or we pity them because they didn't foresee the consequences that they would have to undergo. No one would know what to expect in life if there wasn't anyone to inform others of their personal experience in it. Taking advice from adults or wiser people can help us avoid physical and emotional pain. It provides for inexperienced people a friendly warning that you can't get away with sin and that there are consequences for every decision, whether bad or good. Children are taught the 10 Commandments from a very young age because the wisdom that they can impart can protect them, or at least temporarily, from the errors of the devil, or at least that's what parents think. There is such thing as learning from secondhand experience. However, does merely listening to others affect us enough? Do we truly learn lessons best when we listen to others' experiences versus experiencing consequences ourselves? We've heard our pastor tell us countless times that following the desires of the flesh can only lead to disaster and pain, yet those lessons don't actually sink in until we've committed that sin ourselves. An American poet, James Russell Lowell, once said, "One thorn of experience is worth a whole wilderness of warning." He was right. While listening and learning from others is vital to growing in wisdom and maturity, it is not enough to be able to really make us realize the weight of the consequences of our choices. The only source of knowledge is experience, Albert Einstein. Though it is certainly possible for a moral to be learned through a lecture, the lesson may not sink in permanently, or at least not as effectively as personal experience would affect actions or thoughts. If someone were to simply tell you that lying is damaging and hurtful without any proof or examples, would you believe them? Probably not. Without any proof or examples or truth to base morals upon, there's no real reason to follow morals diligently. However, if they were to tell you that when they lied it took years to earn their friend's trust back, and that in the end they regretted their decision, you would probably take note not to lie so that you wouldn't have to experience the pain that they did. However, first of all, great, you learned a moral, but you're not learning from that pain, you're hiding from it. That's the motive, and you're deciding. In order to truly understand and accept a moral, one must be thankful for the pain and face it as an opportunity to learn and grow in your character. Pain was brought into the world because of Adam and Eve's actions. Remember that God allowed pain to enter the world for a reason. Though he didn't particularly want his children to undergo painful struggles, he knew that without any consequence, they would learn nothing from it. Now, imagine a world without consequences or pain. Just for a second. Murderers and civilians, innocent civilians, would be treated the same way. There would be no distinction between good and evil, and therefore no reason to follow morals at all. Pain can be used as a means of growing as long as we give it the chance to help us grow. When it boils down to it, it's our decision of whether or not we want to learn from our mistakes. Experience is the teacher of all things, Julius Caesar. Morals can't be taught the same way as, say, math or science. Whereas learning science consists of boredom and late-night cramming sessions, learning morals requires both a conscious decision to acknowledge morals and a conscious decision to follow through with the decision to use morals as a compass in life. However, it is certainly possible for someone to know and acknowledge virtue, yet to still choose not to be virtuous. For example, as a child, my mom would always warn me about going to timeout whenever I sassed her. She would tell me that I have to go to my room or she would take my stuffed animals away for a week. Though I knew that what I was doing was generally considered wrong, I ignored her for the most part because I never got properly punished for sassing her. One time, however, I made the mistake of sassing my mom when Dad was home. Before I even opened my mouth to talk back to my mom, he popped a spoonful of jalapeno hot sauce into my mouth.
Yeah.
I remember it being so spicy that my eyes started watering and my lips grew puffy and numb. I learned not to push Mom so hard after that or to sass her again at all, though I still do. I gained a piece of wisdom because of pain. Without pain, there was no real lesson being learned. My mom's empty threats meant nothing until actual pain was inflicted. The same is true for any other consequence. If nothing is lost because of sin, then no genuine wisdom can be gained. When it comes to teaching discipline, pain is the most effective way. Levi Ackerman. Understanding and learning from others' experiences is important because without it, nobody would know how grave the consequences of sin are. However, other people simply telling us not to sin is completely different from experiencing consequences personally. Learning from personal experience, though it doesn't save us any pain whatsoever, can permanently ingrain lessons into our brains and give us a story to tell others so that they might learn from our experiences as well. The pain of consequences can be used for the greater good and can teach lessons in and of themselves. Learning from morals also demands personal accountability and a conscious decision of devotion to virtue. So can morals be learned without experiencing pain? No. Because without pain, there is no distinction between good and evil, and therefore no morals for lessons to be based upon in the first place. There's no such thing as a painless lesson. They just don't exist. Sacrifices are necessary because you can't gain anything without losing something first. But once you can endure that pain and make it your own, you'll find that you now have a heart strong enough to overcome any obstacle.